Hello students, good morning. Last time I remember I was talking about the short period progression function, that is the law of variable proportions, right? So in that I had explained to you what is short period progression function and why it is called law of variable proportions. I also drew a table, and through the table I told you that through the production process in the short period we come across three stages. Stage 1 was called the law of increasing return, stage 2 was called the diminishing return, and stage 3 was called the negative returns. It is because we call these three stages, three phases of production function according to the behavior of the output, that is when we give some input and when some input are kept fixed and some are variable, then the output behaves in this way. In the initial stage, the marginal product go on increasing. So when it goes on increasing, the total product also increases at an increasing rate. Therefore, this stage is known as increasing return. In the second stage, marginal product goes on falling, and when marginal product goes on falling, the total product increases at a diminishing rate. So therefore, this stage, second stage, is known as the diminishing returns. And in the third stage, what happens? The marginal product becomes negative, and when marginal product becomes negative, the total product also falls. So this third stage is known as the stage of negative returns. Okay, so whether it is increasing return, diminishing return, or negative return, these three stages taken together, we call it as the law of variable proportions, because in every stage, in every period of production, the proportion between fixed and variable changes, as I told you last time. Therefore, this law is known as law of variable proportions. I also told you about the assumptions. So let's draw today the diagram to explain the three stages of the production function. We shall draw the diagram and we shall explain it again with the help of the diagram. Let's draw the diagram first. So this is OX axis, this is OY axis, right? This is TP, total product. This is MP, marginal product. This is AP, average product. Okay. This is in OY axis, we measure average product, marginal product, and also total product. Okay. So here, let's say this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3. Three stages shown in form of a diagram like this. This is stage 1. So let's name them first. Let's say this is MN. Let's say this is H. Let's say this is K. This is, let us say, R. This is S. So what happens in stage 1? First you come to stage 1, which is called as the stage of increasing returns. In this stage, returns increase. Returns means output. Okay. So in this stage, what happens? You see, the marginal product rises from 0. It goes on up to H. So here marginal product rises, reaches the maximum point at H. And when marginal product rises, the total product also rises. You see, the total product curve is somehow it is concave. It has a very steep slope. So it rises up to point K. Marginal product rising, total product rising at an increasing rate. So up to point K. This is called the point of inflection. Okay. So up to point K, the marginal product rises, the total product rises at an increasing rate. Up to point H, marginal product rises. So K corresponds to point H in the marginal product curve. Therefore, up to point K, the total product rises at an increasing rate. Therefore, this stage is known as the stage of, this is called the increasing return. So this is called the stage of increasing return. Now when you come to stage 1, you see what happens to the average product. The average product rises and reaches the maximum point. Let's say this is point A. Up to point A it rises, and after point A the marginal product starts falling but never becomes zero. Remember, average product never becomes zero but goes on falling in the next stages. But in the first stage, stage 1, increase in return, the three products rises. Average product rises, reaches its maximum point in this stage. The marginal product rises. The total product also rises at an increasing rate. Therefore, for these 3 rises in 3 products, the first stage is known as the stage of increasing return. Coming to the second stage, after first stage goes, the second stage comes. In the second stage, the marginal product becomes 0. You see, at point N, it has fallen and become 0. When marginal product falls, total product rises at a diminishing rate. So here marginal product diminishes, total product diminishes, and the average product also diminishes. Therefore, this stage is known as stage of diminishing returns. This is called as the stage of diminishing returns. Now in stage 3, what happens? The marginal product becomes negative. The total product also falls. So this is known as the stage of negative returns. In this stage, average product also falls but never becomes 0. Now the question is, if these are the 3 stages, why does it happen so? Why does in the first stage marginal product increases up to point H? Why does the total product rises at an increasing rate in stage 1? This is very simple. The reason being that in the initial stage of production, we know that some factors are fixed and others are variable. So keeping land as fixed, when we increase more number of laborers as variable factors, what happens? The land and labor in the initial stage, land is not totally utilized with one labor. So as you employ more and more labor, the land gets fully utilized. Land becomes optimum use. Therefore, the marginal product rises. But the point where the proportion between fixed and variable factors are optimum, that right proportion is once maintained, then what happens? The marginal productivity of the laborers will start falling. So in the initial stage, the marginal product rises and total product also rises to the optimum up to point K in an increasing rate. But in the second stage, what happens? Marginal product falls. Now question is, why does marginal product fall? This is because of 2 reasons. First is indivisibility of the factors. Now, as you know, in the short period, land is an individual factor, it is a fixed factor, it cannot change. You cannot neither increase nor decrease the size of land. So when land is indivisible, as you employ more and more factors, so land doesn't require the help of these variable factors. So land is fixed. You increase more and more laborers, what will happen? Their marginal productivity is bound to fall. And when marginal productivity falls, total productivity rises but at a diminishing rate. Now, if we could increase the land, then this stage would never have come. Because if we want to employ 5 more laborers, we can increase. If we can increase the land by 1 more acre, then the diminishing returns would not happen. But that doesn't happen because land is fixed and we only go on increasing the variable factors. Therefore, when you go on increasing the variable factors, the diminishing returns occurs because land is an individual factor. And secondly, factors are not perfect substitutes of each other. Whatever factors we increase, laborers we increase, all the laborers, all the variable factors are not of equal efficiency. They are not perfect substitutes of each other. Therefore, it falls as well as this increases at a diminishing rate. Once it reaches the maximum point, then what happens? Marginal product becomes negative and total product becomes false. So this is because of negative returns. Now the question is, in which stage the producer will get optimum profit? Now in stage 1, the producer cannot stop production because here the total product is rising. Though in a diminishing rate, it is rising. So he will go to stage 2. In stage 2, what happens? The marginal product becomes 0 and total becomes maximum. When the total becomes maximum, the producer will get optimum output. So he will try to stop production in that stage. So N is the optimum point where the producer will stop production with maximum output. Total product is NS. Now if any foolish producer ever goes to stage 3, then what happens? The marginal product becomes negative and total product falls. So you will never go to stage 3 because you will get maximum profit, maximum benefit in this stage 2. So stage 2 is the optimum point where the producer will get maximum profit, and that is the producer's equilibrium point stage where the producer will get maximum of profit. Now this theory is explained by Marshall. When Marshall explained this theory, Marshall had in his own mind that diminishing return, this stage, which is most important stage, this is only possible in case of agriculture. He says in case of agriculture only diminishing returns occurs, but in case of industry this stage doesn't occur, never comes. So in case of industry, increasing return operates always. So Marshall says in case of industry, industrial production, in case of manufacturing sector, the increasing return only operates, and in case of agricultural sector, only diminishing return operates. But modern economics doesn't agree with it. They say that diminishing return also operates not only in case of agriculture, but also in case of all types of productions like agriculture or manufacturing, in fishery production, in mining sector, in construction sector, in all sectors of production. What do we find? We find that diminishing return operates, because in that sector also, as you go on increasing day by day, year after year, so what happens? The marginal product will fall, the total product will increase at a diminishing rate. So Marshall says diminishing return is only applicable for agriculture and increasing return is applicable only for industry, which is negated, which is criticized by the modern economists. They say every production sector, every sector where production takes place can also come under the diminishing returns. Okay, so this is all about the short period production function or the law of variable proportions. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.